Hi everybody and welcome back to the Lambeth Made podcast. I'm your host Karima and today I'm here with
Yasmin Latif.
Hi Yasmin. So thank you for joining us today on the show. Before we get into it, can you please tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm a nutritional therapist and a health coach. I have my own business set up, and I'm also working currently for another charity, Healthy Living Platform.
Okay. So you said that you own a business and you're like a health coach. Can you expand a bit on that? Like what do you do?
So I do several things. My passion is women's health. I feel it's really, really important to find, women have to feel quite empowered about their bodies and what's going on. Only we live in our bodies, right? As we were discussing before. And when women come to me, they're quite vulnerable and they're not too sure about what's going on. And so I do a 30-minute discovery call with them, which kind of talk to them about their issues. And I'll also tell them how I work. And how I work is first session, I spend 90 minutes with the women and with my client. And we kind of go through everything. We go through all the way from their grandparents, all the way down from their childhood. Look at all the different body systems because everything is connected.
Yeah.
It's not isolated at all. Our bodies work together. It's very holistic.
Yeah.
I think in modern medicine, and we do need modern medicine, definitely 100%, because they do save lots of people's lives. But I feel that modern medicine will only concentrate on the symptoms. But what I do is I actually go down into the roots of the person. So for example, if you have certain menopausal symptoms, the obvious reason is obviously because your estrogen levels are declining, but there's always other reasons for that. So I would find out, why is this person unwell? Why is this happening to that person?
You said that you believe in modern medicine, but what do you think about like herbal? Because I feel like sometimes herb medication, like there's side effects, and herbal is. What's your opinion on that?
I think herbal medicine is really, really important.
Yeah.
I think the side effects only come usually because somebody has tried so many different medications. They've gone to the doctors backwards and forwards, tried this medication, it hasn't worked. They moved on to another medication, that hasn't worked. So they've kept going backwards and forwards. And by the time, unfortunately, most people, by the time they've got to herbs, they then take it and then they find your body's just had enough and then suddenly a side effect might appear. And I'll think, blame the herbs, not the medication that they've had before.
Yeah.
But, if you are interested in herbal medicine, it's always a good idea to go to somebody that's qualified because they will, like me, take all of your medical history, your family history, the whole lot, and spend a lot of time going through every single system. And then they'll actually devise you something that, the herbs that will suit you. And also they'll know what medications you're on, and they'll make sure that those herbs that they're giving you are not going to interact with any medications.
Okay. So what inspired you to get into your specific work or field?
So when I was younger, I didn't really look after myself. I got away with a lot because when you're young, you can get away with a lot. You can eat what you want, sleep, not that many, don't get a lot of sleep. It's fine. You can get through it. I've got 5 children, and my last child I had about 10 years ago. And I felt very ill, mentally ill. I had something called postpartum psychosis. It's a horrible time in my life. I was on lots of medications, but I was quite lucky. I was looked after by, I had got support from friends and family, and my psychiatrist was fantastic. And I got myself out of there with all these things. And medication, at that point, I didn't need medication. I was very ill. But, it made me think, okay, so why did I get ill? Why I've been okay, and all of a sudden it's come from nowhere, literally. And during this time as well, my mum fell ill, and she's kind of diagnosed with a incurable lung condition. So she was kind of like, she went to hospital, and 3 weeks later she'd gone, basically. And it kind of made me quite curious because we asked the doctors, so what's happening? why did she get this condition? We couldn't figure it out, and they called it idiopathic, which means unknown reason. So they call it, yeah, that's what the words that they used. So they couldn't really give me an answer. I think I even contacted an expert in the States, and he couldn't help me either, believe it or not. So, I was kind of, as a family, we were kind of like, oh my God, how did she get this? We have no idea. So I started searching on Google, trying to get answers, and I fell into the industry or the sector of wellness, and I didn't realize how much wellness, what you eat, what you put in your bodies, your lifestyle choices, everything, the whole lot has such an impact on your mind and body. And obviously I can't ask her now, about her medical history and everything, and I still don't have any answers. But I kind of now understand what point she got to, and it was just very unfortunate that I didn't know the amount of information, the knowledge that I have now to help her.
Okay. So previously you said you was a mother of 5. And I read that you have a bachelor degree and you also have a master's degree. And you also studied naturopathic nutrition for 3 years. So how did you juggle that?
It's quite difficult. It's really difficult, I'm not going to lie. I did do, we had so many assignments and exams that we had to do. I mean, it was like non-stop.
Yeah.
But I just... when the children were at school, so that would be my time to sit down and study. And when they went to bed, then I would go upstairs and I would study then as well. And I'm not going to lie, that sometimes I would be working till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, writing an assignment.
Yeah.
And then crying about it afterwards because I thought I hadn't done a good job. And then I would kind of get about 2, 3 hours of sleep. And then I would be up again, just keep going. It was, I think having them in a routine is very, very, it's fantastic, because then okay, this person's going to go to bed at this time, and from this time onwards is going to be my time.
Yeah.
So I had to be quite strict with it. But, then at the same time, I kind of gave myself a break, saying, well, if I can't get the grades that I want or the marks that I want, that's okay. It's fine. You're juggling a lot. Just pass. Doesn't matter what mark it is.
Yeah.
As long as you pass, that's fine. Give yourself a break. But
So I want to delve into a different route. I know that you grew up in Lambeth, and so do you think that growing up in Lambeth, how has that shaped you? Did it kind of influence getting into your specific field?
I didn't really think about it, tell you the truth. I mean, I love living in Lambeth. I've lived here all my life. I was born in Lambeth and grew up in Lambeth, and I'm still living in Lambeth. It's just a fantastic area to live in as well. It's very diverse and very loud. But at the same time, it's quite nice that we have quite a lot of green stuff around us. So I love all of that. But yeah.
Okay. Why do you think women should be more interested and involved in their body?
I just think I go back to thinking again that I talk from personal experience from my friends and everyone else around me, but the women that I have as friends and from my community, which is Pakistani, it says that they feel like they can't put themselves first. Everyone else has to come first, and then they end up getting very ill.
Yeah.
And they kind of accept, well, I'm on this medication now because I'm getting old. And I just think, no, you can't think that way at all. You have to put yourself first. You shouldn't be. It's not being selfish at all, because if you're happy, if you're healthy, you then can give so much more to your community, to your children, to your family, to your friends, and most importantly, to yourself.
Yeah. So, if a woman wants to, start taking care of herself, because I remember you saying that all sleep, eating, well-being, it all flows together. What's one tip you will say that she needs to keep consistent about that can help her on her well-being and health journey?
Oh gosh, there's so many things that they can do. I think it's nice in the day if they can spend at least 30 minutes doing something that they enjoy, be it having a nap or going out for a walk, after the children have gone to bed, go to have a lovely bath and read a book. You need to find that time for yourself. But I would like to say they should be a little bit active, because it's very easy by the end of the day when you're really tired just to sit in front of the television and zone out.
Yeah.
And that's fine sometimes, but you should be a little bit more productive, put a little bit more into yourself. go to have a massage, or go for a swim, go out, do something like that, rather than just kind of zoning out and just watching Netflix for the next 3-4 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to get a bit of advice from you, because I feel like as a young person, I take pride in like looking after like what I eat, and I feel like I enjoy exercising and stuff like that. But one thing I feel like I've always struggled with is my sleep. So can you give me like tips how to like regulate that?
Yeah, first of all, I think it's very important to keep good like timetable. So if you sleep and wake up exactly the same time every single day, your body will synchronize itself. And it does take a few days. It could even take a few weeks, but you can. It is the body's very clever.
Yeah.
I remember when I was younger, sometimes I would kind of make a note in my head, okay, I need to get up at 7 o'clock. And I would get up at 7 o'clock without alarm clock.
Yeah.
So it's, body's very clever, definitely in that way.
Yeah.
But also we have something called a pineal gland in your brain, which kind of activates itself in the sunlight. So as soon as you wake up in the morning, go outside, you can go into the garden, or, if you're living in a flat, open the window, stick your head out for about 5-10 minutes, or go for a walk. That way, body kind of thinks, oh, okay, we're up, we're ready to go. And you'll feel, your body will know it's time to not sleep, it's time to wake up. So by the time it starts getting dark again, your body will get that signal, okay, it's time to wind down. We're not going to be active now. It's now the end of the evening. We're going to go into, going to start sleeping.
Yeah.
So I think those kind of tips are really, really helpful as well. And also not to eat too much food, I would say about 3 hours before you go to bed.
Yeah.
Because your body's too busy digesting all the food. It's not kind of repairing while you're sleeping as well.
Okay. Because I feel like those are good tips. And I feel like I've tried like certain things like maybe calms or like chamomile tea. Is there anything that you can like suggest that maybe could like make me like just wind down a bit? Because sometimes I feel like my brain doesn't always wind down the best.
I think a lot of people now talk about you need to switch off all your electronics. So that means TV, phone, I don't know, radio, anything like that. Just put it all away, I would say at least an hour before you go to bed. And just kind of like, read a nice book. Or another thing you can do is have a journal and write about the things that what you're grateful for and how your day went. All of these things will help your brain to kind of slow down and wind down.
Okay, so I want to delve into like the nutritional side, because you said that you're a nutritionist as well, right? So what's your take on people that have different diets? Some people they are vegans, or they're pescatarians, vegetarians. Like some people don't eat anything at all. What do you think about that?
I think it's fine. I mean, you can be on any diet you want, but you have to make sure that you're getting all your nutrients. If you're a vegan, you'll have to supplement with certain vitamins. For example, vitamin B12, you can't get that from plants at all. It's only available in animal sources. The other vitamins, which you possibly can get from vegan sources, but you probably won't get the certain amount that you need. For example, iron, and there's zinc as well.
Yeah.
So these kind of nutrients, you have to be aware of them, and it's a good idea to actually go and have a check with your doctor to see what levels you're at, and they'll give you the appropriate supplementation.
I never thought about that. How do you do that?
So, I mean, I do tests for my clients.
Yeah.
I do private testing with them, but I always go to the doctor first to see, because they don't charge anything.
What do you think is the best way to keep track of like how much you eat, what it's giving you, and
Good thing is to really have a diary, put it all down. It's very good. I mean, I make my clients keep a food diary for me, so I can really have a look and see, what a typical day is, what a typical weekend is, and it is a very good way to track what you're eating every single day.
Yeah.
The course that I'm leading right now, the Food Ambassador course, I've actually given journals to all of my participants, and I've asked them to keep track of what they're eating every day, what changes they want to make with their diet, or, et cetera, et cetera. So they know then, when I'm actually teaching them, they'll kind of go back and have a look and see if they can regulate and understand. And, I'm always open to
Okay.
talk to them about it.
So,
Anyway.
what would you like? You said that we could keep a diary. Would you like suggest apps as well? Because some people they don't have the
Yes.
time to actually sit
Yeah,
there.
yeah, they're very good apps.
Okay.
Can't think of any apps on top of my head. But yeah, apps are brilliant as well. It's a good way to keep track of everything. Yeah.
And I feel like we've always been told that we should drink a lot of water, but I feel like in a generation or just society, I feel like people don't take heed to that like advice. Now, can you give us like a reason as to why you think people should like increase their water intake?
Well, water has so many different functions in our body. Apart from keeping us hydrated, your cells need water to carry out the chemical reactions that your body needs to do and maintain every single day. So that's quite important. Also, obviously, it helps to keep you going to the toilet. You need to be regular. I would say every single day, personally, you need to go at least once.
Yeah.
So, you just, if you feel dehydrated, you can also, your memory can be quite poor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the symptoms of being perimenopause or menopausal is something called brain fog.
Yeah.
And when you're not quite there, and things will seem a little bit more difficult to remember,
Yeah.
and you forget things easily. One of the reasons is because you're not getting enough water.
Yeah.
Amongst other things, of course, as well.
Yeah. So, I want to get into the subject of menopause, but I feel like in school I learned about the eat well plate, and I
Yes.
feel like there's certain things we have to eat, like fruit and veg. I think that's very essential. What kind of fruit and veg do you like suggest that your clients should eat?
Well, I follow the 30 plants a week diet. It was done by a study in 20, I think it was 2016, maybe it was published in 2019. And it was an American study, and there was an arm that also did it in London as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people have heard of Tim Spector. I don't know. He was a gut specialist, and they found basically people who ate 30 plants a week, their gut bacteria in the microbiome was very, very diverse, and that is very important for your overall health well-being. We need all these wonderful bacteria, as diverse as possible, to keep us healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, lots of studies have been found and done that if your microbiome isn't as diverse as it should be, you are prone to having more illnesses than somebody that has a fantastic diet of plants. But by plants, I mean not just fruit and vegetables. I'm covering things like beans, so legumes like black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, lentils, red lentils, there's green lentils, there's nuts and seeds as well. There's even herbs and spices as well. You can include that in your diet, and whole grains like oats and brown rice and teff, and this whole array. So it's not just fruit and vegetables. So when you're doing 30 plants a week, you need to kind of think about everything that's a plant, which I mentioned is everything is a plant.
Okay. So previously you talked about menopause, and I read on your website it says something about 7 secrets to a happy, healthy menopausal life. Could you shed more light on that?
Yeah, it's just a few tips just to get women to start thinking about their health. And I guess these tips you could use it with anybody, really. It's just eating. But I think particularly with menopausal women, as we get older, we are kind of subject to diseases like osteopenia, osteoporosis, also sarcopenia, which is wasting of your muscle. So it's very important that we kind of keep healthy and eat enough protein. Our protein needs actually increase as we get older.
Yeah.
And also getting the right nutrients for your bones. And what's really good is to also do a lot of strength training. I mean, all exercise is brilliant, but if you really want to focus on keeping your bones and your muscles strong, you do need to do strength training, definitely, and reducing stress. And sleeping as well is quite important, because as you're going through, I don't know, I really like using this word, but I'm going to use it, midlife, you tend to get, your body is in a state of inflammation because your hormones are trying to, in women in particular, trying to wind down. And it can cause quite a lot of distress, because as the estrogen a particular estrogen kind of starts declining, our body's trying to find other ways to make up for it.
Yeah.
So, women will start to gain more weight and get more stressed out than they would usually. So it's very important to keep your diet, keep a check on what you're eating every single day. It's quite tough, but you have to kind of change the way you eat. You can't eat like as a teenager. You can't starve yourself for a few days and think, I can get into my dress. It doesn't work that way at all.
Yeah. You said something about strength training. Could you kind of elaborate on that and kind of maybe give advice how to get into that?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's beneficial for everybody, but because I'm kind of focusing on women that are in the perimenopause, menopause, as I said, we get lots of different diseases like I said, osteoporosis, sarcopenia. We're more likely to have heart disease, diabetes increases. I mean, so many different diseases, and strength training will kind of at least delay or completely get rid of, you getting these kind of diseases. Definitely, it is something that you want to keep healthy and keep going. As we get older as well, a lot of older people will fall. And that can be quite detrimental to their health because sometimes they die. And this is one of the reasons is because they haven't got any muscle mass, basically. So our muscle mass is it's like our power station. It's where all our metabolic activity happens, is in our muscle. So, I say that, people that are overweight, they shouldn't be overweight. They're more like under-muscled.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so our muscles should be quite nice and lean. It shouldn't have any fat going through it. It's different ways to start it off. Just start off the most simplest way. You can join a gym, obviously, or get personal instructor. If you can't afford that, there's lots of classes on YouTube. There's loads of stuff you can access now. So, good time to start having a look at these things, And, you can just kind of start with a can of baked beans on both. And just try that, and then obviously eventually increase,
Yeah. I feel like I'm quite young to understand this topic, but I kind of want to understand a bit more because, like, you're a professional. Obviously, I'm 22, but is there, like, anything I can do so that when it comes to the time of me going through menopause, like, I don't go through it as bad? And
Yeah, so eat well. Definitely eat well, as I was saying. Get your 30 plants. Definitely a week. That's very important to be diverse as possible. But I also feel like we should be eating things, be mindful of eating protein. And I'm not just talking about meat, I'm talking about beans and lentils and, edamame beans, tofu. There are vegan sources as well.
Yeah.
Be conscious of that. And I think another thing we neglect is that we're always scared of eating fats. Now, fats are really, really important in our diet. We need fats for making hormones, basically. Every single hormone in your body is made with fat. Also, our brain is quite a lot of cholesterol. It's made from cholesterol and made from fat. We need fat we have certain vitamins like A, D, E, and K, which need fat for your body to absorb and to use. For example, vitamin D. Our body uses cholesterol to convert the vitamin D into a useful form for us. So fat is very important. So I would say eating healthy fats, which you can get from avocados, olive oil, nuts and seeds, and my favourite, which is a fatty or oily fish, things like salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines and herrings are all fatty fish. And it contains a very fantastic, really brilliant type of healthy fat, which is quite, nutritionists talk about all the time, called omega-3. And our body can't make these oils at all, so we have to get them from the outside and put them in our bodies. And these are very important, particularly in fighting inflammation, which I think maybe we spoke about it before. Your body's quite inflamed, lots of diseases. It's also very good for joint health, brain health loves it as well. And it also keeps your cells quite fluid as well. We don't want our cells to be too rigid, so they can't function and do their job. They need to be nice and flexible. So omega-3s are fantastic. You can, if you're a vegan, you can get it from algae, definitely.
Okay, now previously you talked about proteins. Now I feel like there's some people who have chosen to go maybe the vegan route, and that means they're not getting enough protein, so they might choose to try like protein bars and protein shakes. What's your opinion on that?
I think with protein bars, if you're buying them from outside, I personally wouldn't eat them at all. I just feel like, I mean, it's just the worst stuff to put together. I'm afraid. That's what I feel. When I've looked at the ingredients, I'm never happy with it, what it has in there. I think the best thing to do is to make the protein bars yourself at home.
Okay.
That way you have control about what you're putting in there. And there's lots of fantastic ideas and recipes online that you can find and make yourself. You know, you only need sometimes only 2-3 ingredients, and you know, you don't have to bake them. You can put them in the fridge. They cook very quick. You know, they're made very quickly, and you can use them straight away. That way, you have more control about what you put in your body. In terms of shakes, I mean, I wouldn't rely on them just for a sole purpose of just getting my protein. Having it occasionally, here and there, is not going to hurt you, but it's not something that you should have every single day.
Okay. So, what's one tip you will give, like, one tip or rule you would give women to, like, if they want to start their health and well-being, like, through, I know there's, like, a lot of tips and tricks. What's, like, one thing you'll say that's, like, very key for them to keep their, like, health going well?
I think it's obviously it's like a part of, like I said, I was talking about being holistic. You know, you need nutrition. You need get good sleep. You need to reduce your stress. You need exercise.
Yeah.
There's and lifestyle changes. It's so much to it. It's not just one thing. And I think you need to focus on all these things. But it's one thing that I found, which I've been, because I'm such a geek. I love reading studies. I just, you know, I graduated with a distinction with my, because I love studies. I love talking about them, reading them and dissecting them. I just loved it. And I've come across a study recently called the Rosito study. And the Rosito is a place in the United States, in Pennsylvania. And they found that this particular community, the group of Italians, had very low rate of heart disease and diabetes compared to the rest of America. So they're kind of figuring out, well, why is this? Why is the rest of the States having these horrible, you know, having high levels of obesity, diabetes, heart disease, but this community doesn't, because they were eating exactly the same thing. They were eating all the wrong foods, if you want to call it that, but they had quite low incidence. And they found out it's because they had such a strong community. Everybody supported each other. Everybody spoke with each other. If someone didn't have something, the other person would step in and help. And it was such a lovely integrated community. And this is quite powerful, I think, that, okay, you have nutrition, but if you're alone, if you're miserable with your life, nutrition is not going to do anything for you. You need a community, you need good friends and family around you. It's called the Rosito effect. So it's quite powerful, and we've seen this repeated again and again across lots of communities around the world. That community, I would say, is number one. You need people to love you. You need to love people. You need to get out there and communicate with people. And if that happens, your nutrition and your mindset, everything will be very good.
Like, when it comes to eating, what should be on your plate?
So the charity Healthy Living Platform, they use the NHS Wellness Plate. So they say about just over, I would say, a third of fruit and vegetables, just over a third of whole grains, about just under a third of protein, a smaller amount of dairy, and a little bit of healthy oils and fats. So, I mean, you can look it up on the internet. You can have a look at the plate. And in fact, I've actually left a task for my class to actually make their own wellness plate, using that as a guide. I think as well, it's important to eat certain things in a certain sequence. I've been following the Glucose Goddess. She's fantastic. So she talks about eating salad or green vegetables, ideally, before you have your main meal. And one of the reasons is because it's high in fiber. So when you eat that, it kind of like, it kind of forms a mesh in your stomach. So we kind of, from carbohydrates, we kind of get, our body needs carbohydrates, basically, and sugar is released, glucose, for our cells to use. So every single cell needs glucose to do a good job. but sometimes we might have a bit too much glucose going into our systems, and that will kind of make our hormones go all over the place as well. So eating a salad first will actually slow that down, and then eat a protein and fat, and then eat your carbohydrates last. But by the time you get to the carbohydrates, hopefully you'll be really full, that you will just think, oh, actually, I don't want to eat this rice. Because, I mean, we all say, oh, I've got room for dessert. Because with carbohydrates, our brain can just keep going on carbohydrates.
Literally.
If you've just had pasta and some tomato sauce,
Just be like,
you're hungry, aren't you? About, I don't know, an hour later, you want something else to eat. But but protein and fat kind of signals to your brain, okay, I'm full now, and you can stop. So that's why it's very important to get all these nutrients into your body.
So you talk about healthy fats, and I feel like some people, they like to be like, oh, let's stop eating fat. But you talked about healthy fats. So can you elaborate on that more and maybe get some examples of like healthy fats that we should consume?
Sure. So like healthy fats, they're all different types. You can get omega-6s and omega-3s. I think omega-6s are a lot easier to get into your diet than omega-3s, who are a little bit more specific. And you can get like omega-3s from, healthy fats you can get from nuts and seeds and avocados, olive oil, etc. But the omega-3s you can get them from fatty fish. You can also get them from nuts and seeds like walnuts, hemp seeds, flax seeds. But just this science bit is that your body has a certain enzyme which it breaks it down for you to use in your body. But the vegan sources, the enzyme doesn't work very well in our bodies. So we only get a tiny amount. But if you're eating something like salmon, that particular omega-3 that we need is already made for you. You can also get supplements in algae if you don't want to eat fatty fish. But with salmon and herring and mackerel, obviously you're getting other nutrients. You're getting protein, you're getting vitamin A and E, and you're getting vitamin D. You know, you're getting all the other goodies as well.
So
and it's cheaper than supplements too.
So I feel like I've heard you talk a lot about like different vitamins, like vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K. Can you break them down a bit and tell us like where we can find each of them?
So vitamin A is you get it from lots of sources. You can get it from plant sources as well, like carrots and red peppers, and from green food. And you get vitamin A with things like liver, meat, butter, those kind of sources. But I think with vitamin A, the vegan sources, it's a bit more difficult to your body for it to absorb. It can absorb it, but it's a different type of vitamin A. And also the recent study found, well, not recent, I think it's a few years old now, found that some women don't actually absorb that vitamin A at all through the vegan sources, so it's better to get it through meat. Vitamin D, obviously, is the sun. You can get it from some foods like egg yolks and I think mushrooms as well. I think people say sometimes you leave the mushrooms out in the sun, it should absorb the vitamin D. So you can try that. But vitamin D is either the sun or supplementation is another way to go. Vitamin E as well is kind of like an antioxidant, so it protects your cells from getting damaged. You get nuts and seeds, olives, avocados. Vitamin K, we have two types. We have vitamin K1, you get from green leafy veg, and vitamin K2, which you'll get from meat as well. They both have different functions. So vitamin K1 is good for blood clotting. Vitamin K2 it works actually in sync with vitamin D. When the vitamin D and vitamin K get together, they kind of put the vitamin C where it's needed in your body. So it's quite important to get all three of them together.
Okay. Well, it's been very good speaking to you today. What's one piece of advice you would leave for women?
I would say, as I was saying at the beginning, is definitely put yourself first. Not only in terms of nutrition, but everywhere else, because you are really, really important. Without you, your family won't function if you are the main person that's keeping your family going. And also, as I said, we live in our bodies, and it's just important to keep active and happy right throughout our lives. find a way to have some me time. I think that's really, really important as well.
It's been lovely speaking to you today, Yasmin.
Thank you.
Where can people find you?
So I've got a website called yasminlatifnutrition.com. So if you go into there, if you want to book a 30-minute discovery call with me, and which we'll discuss, your issues and how I work, and then we'll find out if you want to work with me. It's a great way to kind of find out about each other, and also I give you a few tips, nutrition tips to you regarding any health issues you may have. You can book this call on my website, also on Instagram, which is Yasmin Latif Nutrition.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us today. I've been Karima, and my guest, Yasmin, and I'll be back next time.
Right, thank you.